just be yourself. You've heard that over and over and over again. And the reason you've heard it over and over again is because it's true. If you can be yourself, I think that is nearly enough.
So, Mr. Wilson Nkosi, it's such a great pleasure speaking to you. Born in the 1970s, Secretive in Mpumalanga, what prompted the move to Swaziland, to the Kingdom of Eswatini?
So, Swaziland has always been home.
Okay.
My mother's mother lived in Secretive, and my parents and my siblings and everyone else before I was born lived in Swaziland. But every time my mom would give birth, she would go to her mother's house, which is just across the border.
Yes.
And that's it. So that was the case with me. That was the case with all my siblings. And I understand that 2 or 4 days after I was born, I was back home. So the whole idea really was, for mom to give birth at her mother's house, as was the case with all my siblings. That's correct.
So now, how was it growing up in the kingdom?
Well, it's a very simple life. It is a place that houses simple and ordinary people with no airs and graces. And so it was fun. No complications whatsoever. And everyone gets along. No apartheid. None of that. I was subjected to that when I came to South Africa in 1986, and everything looked very different for me. It was unfamiliar surroundings, and I couldn't adjust to that. I still haven't adjusted to it because the way things are in SA, very different.
Yeah.
To the way things are in Swaziland.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm in South Africa, and so I'm okay.
You talk about how different it was for you coming to South Africa, but you were one of the first Black people to ever be given a job on radio, a national broadcaster in South Africa in the 1980s. There you were called, come audition. Freedom was in 1994. It was still about, 6 or 8 years away. How was that for you?
Yeah, so the odds were against me when I came here. I had 0.0 broadcasting experience to speak of. I am an outsider, and I had nothing to offer really other than the potential. The people who ran Radio Metro at the time, as it was called, would later say they employed me on the basis of potential. So I had 0.0 broadcast experience to speak of. I was an outsider. I am what Sydney Poitier refers to as a creature of silence. I don't talk much. And Metro FM is unapologetically urban.
Yes.
And I'm semi-urban. So I didn't tick any of those boxes. But, I'm a beneficiary of acts of kindness. Some people gave me a chance, and they bought into the potential, as they would later say. And when they signed me up, they had said they were giving me 3 months. If within 3 months I don't crack it, I would have to go. It's been 36 and a half years. I can't explain it, and I don't try.
And you don't try. So what do you think of South Africa and Swaziland today?
They each have their own issues, their own problems, some bigger than others.
Yeah.
And I'm an observer. I'm a listener. I watch and I listen. And I honestly believe that where we are now in South Africa, everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong.
How sad is that? I mean, I, as a young person, born about 6 or 7 years before freedom. I'm disappointed. I feel very disappointed as a young person, as a young South African, as a young African about this rainbow nation. I remember when freedom was acquired and Nelson Mandela was being inaugurated, we got those white T-shirts with the navy blue and the light blue birds to say we're free now. And my mom was excited I could go to a white school finally.
Correct.
But today, I don't think it's what my mother was promised.
Yeah, it's very, very disappointing. Here's the irony of it. In 1976, you had the uprisings, people not wanting Afrikaans. And fast forward to today, those same people are fighting to take their children to those schools, Afrikaans schools. So how do you explain that? It's been very disappointing, to say the least.
All right, let's talk about something fun, a little bit fun. So you have that voice that everybody recognizes. Whether you do your voice-over work or you're doing your radio show, everybody recognizes Wilson Nkosi. How was it, you Buchama?
No, I don't have that. I don't have that in me. I just come as I am.
Yes.
What you see is what you get. If you don't like what you see, that's it. If you like what you see, chances are you're going to like it for the longest time. So that's pretty much it, I'm not an actor that doesn't get paid to act. So that's pretty much the story. I'm not this person today and a different person tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm the same today, the way that I was yesterday and the day before yesterday. And God willing, if I live to see tomorrow, I'll be the same person tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. I think that's also some advice that you could give to, younger people, especially in an industry like ours where, pressure is also quite a lot to meet society's expectation. Just because people hear you on the radio or see you on the TV, they expect that your life is well put together.
That is true. But also, you have people who make it their business to sell falsehood. And I'm not one of those. I've never tried to be anything that I'm not. It is a full-time job to put on an act. I already have a full-time job, so I'm not looking for another full-time job.
Yeah.
A lot of it is staged. There's a lot of facade. I couldn't be that. I'm not that, and I don't want to be that.
All right, so tell me how, what type of person you were growing up. Were you always in trouble, or were you as reserved as you say you are?
I always, without fail, wanted to make my parents proud from an early age. My mission was to make them happy and proud. I'm not sure if I succeeded in doing that.
You did.
I did, thank you. Your check is in the mail. It's a blank check. You can just fill in the gaps.
Oh, thank you.
It's signed. So that was it. I worked hard at school. I wanted to make them happy. I went to church every Sunday. When I say every Sunday, I mean every Sunday. It was a punishable offense not to go to church in our home. And so I found myself going to church, and that's my background. But a very simple way of doing things. And
So, every time people read up on you, and I wonder if you can just clarify for us, every time we research Wilson Nkosi, These articles always say he's very secretive about his life. He's very private.
That's the word.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being secretive and being private.
Yeah.
I've always thought that I am private. I don't think there's anything that could be put out there that could shock people. So there are no secrets. It's just private because I don't honestly believe that my life is that interesting to a point where people would want to know about it. And so I keep it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing really, there are no small onion skeletons in the cupboard. None of that.
Yeah.
I can say that without any fear of contradiction. But yes, it is kept very private, simply because it's personal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also not interesting. You know?
Are you sure?
One of the reasons why I don't really do interviews that often is because I really don't have much to tell. I've been telling the same story
I
for
can
years and years and years and years. And so there's nothing really new.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here, someone has heard before. So yes.
Well, I'm still honored to be, the latest person to have had a sit down with you. I really appreciate you agreeing. So in 1992, you became one of the first presenters on Jam Alley.
They insisted.
They insisted, so that means those 3 months they gave you on Radio Metro worked.
Pretty much. I mean, everything stemmed from that. So that was not my first gig. My first television gig came a year into my radio career.
Yeah.
It was in 1987. It was a music show. That was the first one. I think Jam Alley was the third one.
Yeah.
Jam Alley, I have to be very honest with you, I didn't enjoy that as much. In fact, I engineered my way out of it. I orchestrated my way out of it because I just didn't see myself fitting in. When I signed up, I was hoping for something different.
Yeah.
But things changed on set, and I realized this does not really speak to my personality. I had great people working with. I mean, I had Vinolia Mashiho,
Yes.
who was some bright spark. I had Leon Mazbugo, Mwelase, Manzezulu. Great, great, great co-presenters. But I just didn't see myself fitting in. And so I asked to be released and relieved of my duties. And they were saying, no, no, no. Eventually, I worked my way out, and there were all sorts of threats. You'll never be on television again. We'll make sure that you don't work on SABC TV again. I've done a whole lot of shows after that.
Yes, you have. You really have. I actually also couldn't place you on Jam Alley at some point because of the person that I came to know on radio. I couldn't place you there, so I'm not surprised that you're saying that you were not interested or that you didn't find it fitting to your character. Right. So, I've always wanted to ask you how it was your very first show on Metro. Did you stutter? What happened that day?
So it was at 12 midnight.
Yes.
And I was with Timothy Modise. He was my co-presenter. We started on the same day. And it was cold in the studio, but I was sweating. I was a nervous wreck. I still remember my first song.
Yeah.
To this day.
What was it?
It was United in Love, the Commodores. And I played the song, and I was like, and then the rest followed.
Yeah. Okay, so music soothes you then. You are really a music person.
It heals me.
Yeah.
Music heals me. It closes all the gaps. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. When I hear music, everything comes together. There's never a time when I don't look forward to going to work. Never, ever, ever. It doesn't matter what I'm going through. When I walk into that door, all the problems cease to exist. I leave them at the door. They know that they have to stay behind at the door. And then they follow me when I leave the studio. But for the 3 hours that I'm there, I feel protected. I feel safe. It is a safe space for me. It is my playground. Nothing could hurt me when I'm in there. It's a safe space for me.
So how do you feel about, the type of love that you're receiving? Does it sometimes scare you that so many people adore you?
Yeah, I come to life with no sense of expectation or entitlement. And so when people show the love that they have shown, it humbles me. It truly, truly does. Metro FM is my third home. Here I arrived. Here I observed. I listened. I read. Here I learned a lot. And so the people have embraced me. And it makes me feel smaller than I already am.
How big is your family? Are you the third child, fourth, last born?
So the nuclear family,
Yeah.
8 children.
That's a big family.
Correct.
I'm sure days were fun.
My parents must have been on TV, right?
Careful.
So I'm not going to say that.
Careful.
I'll continue that sentence and finish it off air, right?
Sure.
Yeah, no. So 6 girls, 2 boys. We are down to 6 now. My brother passed away, and my one sister passed on not so long ago, but 1.5 years ago.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. There are no permanent arrangements in life, you know. Just about everyone you can think of has gone through that at some point.
Yeah.
Worse still. So it's part of this maze called life.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to things that you have no control over, it is best to accept as best as you can.
Yeah, yeah. So are they still all in the kingdom of Eswatini?
They're everywhere. There are some in Mpumalanga, there's one in Johannesburg, and some are in Swaziland.
Yeah.
And, yes, but they are really, really beautiful people. Really, I'm not saying it because they are my own.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because they really, really are.
Yes.
Of the 8,
Yes.
there's no one younger than me. So there's another way of putting it. I'm the last one.
You're the last one.
Correct.
All right. How was it being the last born? Were you pushed around a lot? Or protected, maybe?
No, I wouldn't say so. Maybe there was a bit of attention, not at the expense of other people.
Oh, okay.
Not at the expense of my siblings, simply because, you know, the others are really, you know, there's a age gap. I mean, between firstborn and myself, there's a huge age gap. And then there are 7 people between us. Or 6 people between us. Yeah, 6 people between us. So you'd expect that one of us would get more attention than the other.
Yes,
So
yeah. She became probably like your deputy mom, like somebody
That's
who
correct.
would discipline you, etc., when Uma is like not around or busy.
Yes, my big sister is our mother. We see her as our mother, all of us, you know. When she says whatever she says, we all obey.
All right, so
She enjoys those status.
yeah. Well, that's also quite appreciative, you know, when someone enjoys being another guide, so that there's not just Uma.
Yeah, so everyone has a role. In that pecking order, there's someone who plays a different role and everything. I still have to figure out what my role is. But all the others had their own roles, and they still have. So yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I've got a sentence that you can say for me to the viewers. Maybe if you tell the viewers, watch Masego Rahlaga on all angles on ENCA in Ngeswati.
Bugela, Masego Rahlaga, njalo ngelsonvo, all angles, ENCA.
I'll use that as a promo. Thank you so much. Just advice to young people in the broadcast industry, whether it be TV or radio in the spaces that you've been in, how do they make sure that they're also there for more than 3 decades like you?
Well, I honestly and truly don't have the answer to your question. And my answer would be very cliched, and that is just be yourself. You've heard that over and over and over again. And the reason you've heard it over and over again is because it's true. If you can be yourself, I think that is nearly enough. you do the best you can. And the rest doesn't fall to your hands. It is outside of your control. What you have control over is to do the best you can. If you're given that opportunity, make sure that you give it the best shot. And the rest will depend on someone else. But that which you have control over, make sure that you run with that. So when we are told to be ourselves, be yourself, don't try to be someone else. Even if you admire certain people, just be yourself. You can admire them without wanting to be them. And it works better because you cannot fool people and all the people all the time. So it works better if you're just being yourself, and someone will recognize that. And that's it, yeah. You will forget. If you try to be someone else, at some point, you will forget.
Yes, and be yourself.
So it's
absolutely.
better to be yourself and hope for the best.
Yeah. All right, I know I said that's my last question, but I have another question. You're the music man, right? And the music you play is soulful.
Yes.
What do you think of the music young people play today? What do you think of amapiano, etc.?
Well, music is universal.
Yeah.
It's a universal language. If it's a good song, it's a good song. It doesn't matter what the genre is. I mean, I listen to soul, I listen to R&B, I listen to jazz, I listen to gospel, I listen to hip hop, I listen to classical music. I may listen to a song and I don't understand a word.
Yes.
But I still feel it's a good song. It gives me a lift. So good music is good music. Amapiano, hey, we're good to go.
Yeah. Your favorite song right now?
Oh, why don't you ask me of my favorite 100 songs right now?
Ooh.
Where do I start thinking of one song?
Okay, your favorite song of all time.
I don't have one.
Really?
I promise you, I don't have one. But I can single out one of them. The Dream of a Lifetime, Marvin Gaye. It's not the song, it's one of many.
Yes.
I've had my ups and downs, but I thank God for my wonderful life.
Yeah.
This is the dream of a lifetime.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, and thank you very much for honoring our invite. It was a great pleasure getting to know you. Hopefully the viewers will also enjoy our little chat.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here. Thank you very much, and I wish you well.
Thank you.